Session 7, we're coming to discuss computer software. And software is what drives the computer hardware. Without the software, it will be very difficult for the computer hardware to be functionable. Computer hardware cannot work without software. Software refers to programs which are instruction codes that direct the computer to perform certain and specific actions. Software or programs are also used to perform certain activities or data processing for a computer. In general, there are two basic types of software: the system software and application software. This session explains the general concept of software, suites, piracy software, and computer viruses. At the end of this session, you'll be able to identify and explain the types of software, differentiate between the types of operating system, understand and apply the different methods for preventing viruses, and of course, differentiate between pirated software and also copyright software, as well as understanding the functions of operating systems. Introduction to computer software. The software serves as the platform and also tries to make the hardware functionable. Software is a set of instructions that direct the hardware to perform specified actions. Software is so important that even right from manufacturer's plant, it is already installed, and that makes it special in the information system environment. The software is normally stored on the CD, and in modern devices, we have it installed on the computer system, so as to make work easier for anyone that will use the computer. The software, computer software, handles technical details of the computer. It is not a single program, but rather it is a collection or combination of different systems. We can talk about the operating system, we can also talk about the utility, and then we can talk about the device drivers. Now, the software itself is divided into two different types. We can talk about the application software, and then we can also talk about the system software. So for any software, we have the application as well as the system software. The system software handles the technical issues about the computer system, and it is made up of three different components. It's made up of the operating system, which sometimes we interchangeably use as system software. Some use the system software as operating system, and then we also have the utility as well, and then the drivers, which we call the device drivers. The operating system is the platform for other application programs. So without the operating system, it will be very difficult to install any application package. The utilities are special packs that try to fine-tune the operating system. And the device drivers are the drivers that comes with any other device, any other external device that will connect to the computer system. And take note, now systems don't come with device drivers because it is being inherited, embedded in the operating system. So as anytime you connect any device to the computer system, it automatically updates and upload and then install the drivers. Unlike before, that even pen drive, you need to install the drivers before you can use a pen drive on a specific device. Now, this is not in existence. With this new dispensation, we are using plug and play system, where you plug the system, you plug the device, and then automatically the drivers are being installed and used. So the service pack, which is in the form of the utility, is also no more, all embedded in the operating system. Now, let's look at the types of operating systems. The operating system can be defined as a set of programs through which the computer manages its own resources, and every computer has an operating system. There's no way a computer will be without an operating system. then that computer cannot work because other components, the hardware, cannot communicate. They cannot even function. So the operating system is very important. There are different types of operating systems based on the function and size of operation. We have the first to be the mobile device operating system, which other texts will use or will call embedded operating system. And this operating system is used for smaller programs, smaller devices. And for example, we can talk about the Palm OS, which is a operating system for palm held devices, PDAs, and is for smaller devices. We also have the desktop and notebook computer operating system, which other texts will refer to as the standalone operating system. And this is, for example, the operating system that is used on this laptop, on your desktop, and what have you. With this, it is used for a normal activities, normal transaction, normal operating system activities. And it can be used on your system, it can be used on your desktop, it can be used on your notebook. You are talking about the SP, we are talking about Windows 7, Windows 8, Vista, and all this environment. These are operating systems that are used on desktop and notebooks. We also have the departmental server operating system. And with this, some departments use the normal operating system that they stand alone and configure it to suit the department. And this could also be considered as a departmental server operating system, or sometimes it's called network operating system. Now, with this, looking at the functionality of the operating system, it could also be configured to understand and take signals from client stations so as to manage the environment. The enterprise server operating system is what used to be the network operating system, and that is for the entire organization. Now, we can talk about Windows 2008 server, Windows 2012 server. We can talk about Windows NT, and these are the platforms that we can use as an enterprise, as an organization, to configure the network. Without the network operating system or the enterprise server operating system, the other client stations cannot use the resources on the network. They cannot print, they cannot send message to other computers. They will not be able to be managed and managed well. So all these types of operating systems are very important. The functions of operating system. Now let's look at the functions of any given operating system. Basically, there are three main functions of any operating system. One, the resource management aspect of the operating system, and then the user interface, as well as running other programs. It is the duty and the responsibility of the operating system to start the computer, to either code or boot the computer, and also to provide security in the computer system environment, to monitor performance, and also schedule job. And all these are done by the operating system. And this is what we call the resource management bit of the operating system. It is also the responsibility of the operating system to manage or provide user interface. And we can talk about the DOS interface and then the Windows interface. Now we are gradually moving away, or we have even moved away from the DOS interface to the Windows interface, where we have icons, we have pointers, we have menu, we have all the icons that we can use and we can click in order to get the desired activity done. We're talking about icons, we're talking about pointers, windows, we're talking about menus, dialog boxes, and even help. And these are all in the Windows format. We can understand, we can click, we can see. Unlike what we call the DOS, where it's basically line command. We are just using the command line interface. Everything you do, you type. Everything you do, you have to type the command. If you don't get the command right, there's no way the system will understand you. But we have moved from that command line interface to graphic user interface, where we see icons, we see the window, we see dialog boxes and all that. And these are also functions of the operating system. The last function is to run application. Without the operating system, there's no way there will be Windows, Office 2000 and whatever, 10, 7, 3, and any version, any other application that you want to run, you cannot run it because the platform is not there. So it's also the responsibility of the operating system to create the platform for other applications to be installed and be run. Now let's look at some of the software issues. I'll start with the suite. A suite is basically a bundle of different types of application software developed by the same company usually and packed as a single unit. So for example, when you go in for Microsoft Office, you have the Word, you have the Access, you have the PowerPoint, you have the Access, and you have so many Excel and all that in that pack. So that forms a suite. So we don't go in for the individual application, but we go in for the collective application, and that is what is termed suite. We can also have the Lotus suite, Cora suite, as well as Microsoft Office suite. Some software are being pirated, and pirating of software is the unauthorized copying of the software. If you don't have the permission and you copy the software, it forms what we call illegal and pirated system or software. A software could be in the public domain just to make sure that it's in the public domain and to produce and for a given good of society. These software are being given out freely in the system and they are used by everyone without paying. Now again, maybe to produce or to promote certain products or certain good of society. And so these software are there. For this software, you can access them and you don't pay anything. It's not a copyright software. You can also have a software in the public domain with the intention that you use the software, and when you are satisfied with the software, you voluntarily compensate the owners for developing the software. So you use the software, and then when you are satisfied with the software, you go to the developers, you go to the owners and compensate them willingly. And this is what we call the shareware. And this is different from the public domain software. But for that, you don't need to compensate anyone. The third category is the copyright software or the copyright protected software. With this, you have to pay in order to reward the efforts of those who spend time and any other resources in developing the software. So for example, when you take Microsoft Office, Microsoft or the corporation itself, you realize that they are in and they produce to make profit, they sell to make profit. So their software are copyright software and copyright protected. Therefore, you need to buy before you can use. So we can talk about the software in the public domain, the shareware, and copyright protected software that are produced to make some financial gains. The process of making illegal copies out of copyright software is known as software piracy. If you are pirating the software, you are copying it illegally. Either you are selling it, you are giving it out freely, or you are even keeping it. It's illegal, and we need to refrain from this. Every software that is copyright protected must be acquired, and you can do that through what we call licensing. If you are having more than one computer system and you want to install the same software on the PCs, on the systems, you need what we call the site licensing, so as to cover all the PCs that you have. If you have about 20 PCs and you want to install one application software, or you want to install one software that is copyright protected, you need to buy the license to cover all the 20 PCs, not only one. For the copyright protected software, there are two main roadblocks that are put on the way to prevent unauthorized users, and of course from pirating the software. The first one is the hardware roadblock, and then the second one is the software roadblock. With the hardware roadblock, when the software is being installed, it will require for the actual hardware to be connected. And if you don't have the actual hardware, installation cannot continue. With the software roadblock, it will ask for the key or the license number or the product number before installation can continue. If you don't have the genuine and the right key, the product key, the license, then installation cannot continue. And these are put in place to prevent users or outsiders from pirating the software. This is where we come to the end of the computer software. These are also readings for you. Make sure you read them, and I will see you shortly in the next session.